A full-time mom who works as a live streamer moved into the apartment upstairs. To build her online persona, she always does housework in the early hours of the morning. Miss, you can sleep during the day, but I have to get up at 6:30 in the morning to catch the bus. Can't you give me a break? After being disturbed by the noise from upstairs for several consecutive days, this Saturday, I knocked on the door of my upstairs neighbor. Although I could hear voices inside, it took a while for someone to come and open the door. A woman in loungewear with light makeup regarded me warily and asked about my identity. Maintaining a friendly demeanor, I first handed her a shopping bag containing 3 pairs of noise-reducing slippers. Hello, I'm your downstairs neighbor. The sound insulation in this building isn't very good. I bought these noise-reducing slippers for you. I hope you can keep the noise down at night. As a teacher who has to get up early for classes, she was initially taken aback, but then accepted the shopping bag. She said she would convey my request to her family and thanked me. However, despite their promise to be more careful, the noise at night remained the same. Before long, the quiet night was once again shattered by the sound of chairs being dragged. I didn't used to have trouble sleeping, but now, because of my worry about the noise from upstairs, I find it hard to fall asleep. This situation kept recurring, my sleep quality deteriorated, and my mental state was on the verge of collapse. My supervisor, seeing my dark circles, asked if I hadn't rested well and even inquired whether I needed to take a sick leave. On the second weekend, unable to tolerate it any longer, I went upstairs to see them again. This time, a man dressed in black opened the door. He looked rather menacing. I explained my purpose, hoping they would reduce the noise at night. He recognized that I had given them the noise-reducing slippers before, but his attitude became even more impatient, and he even spoke rudely. Are you done? We've put on the slippers you asked for. Why are you being so picky? Do we need your permission to move around in our own home? Who do you think you are? Shocked and enraged, I had a heated argument with him. Just then, the hostess upstairs also came out and tried to defuse the situation. But her husband became even more arrogant. Instead of calming down, he accused me of making a fuss over nothing. As a high school Chinese teacher and debate team coach, I usually teach my students the importance of harmony. But at that moment, I couldn't tolerate his unreasonable behavior and angrily retorted. As the argument escalated, a group of elderly women, looking rather formidable, came downstairs. At the head was Grandma Lee, whom I had helped before. She seemed not to notice our argument. She warmly invited me to watch the new dance they had learned. Although I still wanted to continue the argument, Grandma Lee gave me a meaningful look, and I followed her downstairs, surrounded by the group of elderly women. I felt as if I was being protected. Behind me, the door of room 301 slammed shut with a loud bang. Who was it that said this before? Never underestimate any granny who dances square dance in the neighborhood. Together they are like a blazing fire. Dispersed they are like countless stars in the sky. The stars of communication satellites, the stars of gossip. Now, in the gazebo of the community, these elderly women didn't show me the dance. Instead, each holding a cup of tremella and wolfberry soup, they sat around me and shared gossip. Oh dear, let me tell you, that family in room 301 is really something, Grandma Lee said. The family in 301 are live streamers. My daughter said that nowadays many people on the internet film themselves doing housework, cooking, and washing clothes. They can earn 70 or 80,000 yuan a month from this. Ran, do you know that? I hesitated for a moment and asked, are they live streaming to sell products? Grandma Lee slapped her thigh. That's right. It's live streaming. Ran, you're always at school so you don't know. They invite people over for meals every now and then. A large group of people come each time. Last time they almost got into a fight with the security guard at the gate. I was surprised and asked why they almost fought. Wasn't it just a dinner party? Grandma Lee smiled mysteriously. It wasn't really a dinner party. They've turned their home into a studio. Some of those people are their guests while others are their employees. This is a residential building, not a commercial district. If everyone starts bringing their employees home, the whole place will turn into chaos. I couldn't help but admire Grandma Lee. You know all this? I asked. Grandma Lee replied proudly, I'm the one who told the security guard. They have guests coming over 3 times a week, and they're always the same faces. First, I thought they were running a pyramid scheme. Pyramid schemes are illegal, you know? It's hilarious. The most formidable group in our country has to be the square dancing grannies. While Grandma Lee was talking, Grandma Zhao took out her phone, skillfully opened an app and said, Look, this is Mom Yaya. Have you seen her videos? It's 2 a.m. My friends have left, my husband is asleep, and I'm cleaning up the mess. I was shocked. No wonder there's so much noise from her place every midnight. So she does the cleaning then. I scrolled down and saw several videos with covers saying things like, It's early morning time. The baby is asleep, and I'm tidying up toys and cleaning. Now I knew where all those noises came from. The sound of chairs being dragged, dishes breaking, and slippers stomping. I was dumbfounded and asked, Is this normal? I'm not married, so I don't know. Do all married women clean only at midnight? The grannies all shook their heads. Grandma Lee said, "There's no reason to clean at midnight. This Mom Yaya does it at dawn on purpose. She shows the time on her phone and then films herself doing housework, so the audience will think she has it tough." Grandma Zhao added, "Well-behaved friends would leave by 8 or 9 p.m. when they know the host has to clean up. But in her videos, the gatherings always end at 11 or 12 p.m. Grandma Lee chimed in, "That's why I said those are all employees. It's all fake." I finally understood. The person living upstairs was a live streamer. To build the image of a hardworking and tragic full-time mom, she deliberately did housework at dawn instead of during the day. Putting down the phone, I just wanted to scream to the sky. What on earth did I do wrong, a law-abiding citizen, to end up with such neighbors? If you want to build an online persona, don't use me, an innocent female teacher who has to get up at 6:30 a.m., as your sacrificial lamb. Perhaps seeing how miserable I looked, the grannies started offering me advice one after another. Ran, keep the evidence and call the property management to complain. I've already complained, but they don't care, I said dejectedly. Complain a few more times and keep the audio recordings. I looked up. The granny smiled kindly and said, "Right, if they make noise upstairs and the property management ignores it, then when you make noise to bother them, they can't say anything either." Looking at her kind smile, I suddenly had an epiphany. Since reasoning doesn't work, I can fight fire with fire. If we can't be harmonious neighbors, then you can disturb me at night, and I'll return the favor during the day. These grannies really are seasoned veterans. Seeing me writing down their suggestions, another granny said amiably, "Summer vacation is coming soon. You can also call the police. If they handle it, that's great. If not, well, it'll be the same as with the property management." Her implication was clear. These were all preparations for a potential showdown. Another granny who was doing leg stretches looked up, waved her fan and smiled. "You can borrow our square dancing speakers during the day. We usually keep the volume low to avoid disturbing others, but you can turn it up all the way. Play the most dazzling ethnic style. Little Apple, Drunk Butterfly, all of them." I hesitated for a moment. Wouldn't this be a case of hurting the enemy but also harming myself? Grandma Lee, very clever as always, smiled and said, "Come stay at my place for a few days, Ran. I'll cook you delicious food." Just then, there was a message in the work group. The leader was encouraging us to sign up for summer study classes. I slapped my forehead and said, "Grandma, no need. I can stay at the school during summer vacation." These past few days, to accompany the students in preparing for the final exams, I held back from confronting the neighbors. But I wrote down every piece of advice the grannies gave me, waiting for the right moment to use them. When summer vacation finally arrived and the students were on break, I no longer had to worry about affecting my work, and I was ready for a showdown. Recommended by my colleagues, I bought high-performance earplugs. Although it felt a bit uncomfortable when sleeping on my side, they could at least block out some of the noise. Occasionally, when I moved in my sleep and the earplugs fell out, I could still hear the even louder noise from upstairs. But I told myself to endure it for now and record everything as evidence gathering. During this period, the landlord, property management, and the police all came, but to no avail. The landlord said the lease with that family was for a year. He could terminate it, but I would have to pay the penalty. Ridiculous. The property management and the police said this level of noise didn't count as illegal, and they could only mediate. The result of the mediation was always the same. The neighbors would agree nicely in front of the landlord, property management, and the police, but as soon as they left, the midnight noise would resume. And during this time, it wasn't just the noise I had to endure. The family in 301 was extremely cheap, almost like hooligans. Even though I was the victim, they acted as if they had suffered some great injustice and kept playing dirty tricks. Ever since that argument, my doorstep often had rotten vegetable leaves, stinky kitchen water, and spoiled egg yolk. These weren't obvious obstacles, but they were extremely disgusting, and they always did it when I was about to go to work. It was so obvious who was behind it. I had to go to work early and come back late every day, and I always had to watch my step to avoid stepping on the mess. One day when I came home early from work, the cleaning uncle was just coming downstairs with a bucket and a mop. Seeing me taking out my key, he stopped, put the mop on the ground and said earnestly, "Young lady, why is your doorstep always so dirty? If everyone was like you, it would be hard for us to do our job." I felt embarrassed and said, "It's not me. Someone is deliberately dumping this here." The uncle looked at me with disbelief. "Just admit it if you did something wrong. Sometimes the garbage bags break, and it's not a big deal." "Uncle, it really wasn't me." "If it wasn't you, then who was it? Even if I believe you, you need evidence." I was silent. They always did these things when I wasn't home, so I had no proof. The uncle probably thought I was in the wrong and said, "Young lady, I didn't see you do it these times, but if someone else catches you, it won't be just a scolding. You'll be fined." His voice was loud and firm. I felt at a loss. I could yell back at the low-class people in 301, but the uncle was just mistaken. I couldn't yell at him for his well-meaning nagging. Just then there was the sound of a door opening upstairs, but no one came downstairs. I knew this sound too well. When I was a kid living in a tenement building, whenever there was an argument, everyone in the corridor would quietly open their doors to eavesdrop. At that moment, the cleaning uncle was still lecturing me, and I could almost imagine the expressions on the faces of the couple in 301 as they eavesdropped at their door. Humiliation and grievance welled up inside me. I interrupted the uncle and said, "Sorry, uncle. It won't happen again." The uncle was taken aback and said, "Okay then, just be more careful." As soon as I closed the door, I immediately ordered a home surveillance camera online. I chose the most expensive one and selected the express delivery and installation option. They wanted to play dirty? I was going to catch them red-handed. I specifically wrote in the order notes that the installer didn't need to knock, just call me when they were about to arrive. During the installation, the installer and I were very quiet. Since they loved eavesdropping so much, I was going to install a watchful eye without them knowing. The surveillance camera was quickly installed. It was very small and almost blended in with my black door frame. That night, there was still a lot of noise upstairs. I opened the app and found that they were live streaming. What were they streaming? The cleaning ability of a certain mop. In the live stream, Momia put the mop's bucket on the floor. And at the same time I heard a loud thud, both above my head and through my phone. Then came the scraping sound of the mop hitting the chair. Some viewers asked, "Won't your neighbors complain?" Momia saw the message and smiled. No. The sound insulation in our house is pretty good. Surprisingly, I wasn't as angry as I thought I'd be. Instead, I thought of the saying, before destruction, one must first go mad. Come on, be even more crazy. Make more noise and dump more garbage. I was moving to the school dormitory next week, and then we'd settle the score. After the final exams, I got the key to the teacher's dormitory. Since I actively responded to the leader's call and signed up for the unpopular summer study classes, the leader was so touched that he arranged the best-lit dormitory for me. While gradually moving my daily necessities to the dormitory, the Bluetooth speaker I ordered online arrived. It was small but had a high volume, could be connected to an app, and had remote control perfect for what I needed. I brought a ladder, used tape to stick the speaker on the ceiling in a strategic position, right above the center of their bedroom. I made sure the sound was strong but wouldn't bother other neighbors. I didn't put it right above their bed, just in the middle of their bedroom. Since they were running a live streaming account, I studied their videos from time to time and figured out their daily routine. They didn't sleep when others did. They always went to bed at 3 a.m. and slept until noon. Great. In the morning on weekdays, most people in the neighborhood were at work and only a few were at home, so I didn't have to worry about disturbing other neighbors. After sticking the speaker in place, connecting the power strip, and making sure it was always charged, I leisurely moved to the school. Nights without noise and without having to wear earplugs were simply wonderful. One morning I woke up at 10 a.m. I opened the speaker app, enthusiastically selected Little Apple, and added all the songs Grammarly recommended to the playlist for continuous looping. After doing this for a few days, the people in 301 couldn't take it anymore. They banged on my door desperately. Through the live stream from the surveillance camera, I saw the man from 301 pounding on the door like a gangster. "I know you're in there. Open the door. You have the guts to play music to bother us but not the guts to open the door." The words sounded so familiar. But I wasn't Fu Wenpei who would just endure silently. I slowly turned on the intercom function of the camera and said, "Oops, sorry. I'm on a business trip and forgot to turn off the speaker." Hearing my voice out of nowhere, the man was startled. It took him a while to notice the almost invisible surveillance camera. Then he got even angrier. "You didn't play the music before or after. You only play it when you're on a business trip? You're doing this on purpose." I laughed. "I can play music whenever I want in my own house. What business is it of yours?" It was so satisfying to throw his own words back at him. He was stunned for a moment, then flew into a rage. "This is disturbing the peace. You're doing this on purpose." He just kept repeating those few sentences. I smiled and said, "Then call the police." I promptly ended the voice call and watched him fume on the video. When I called the police before, they said the evidence I provided wasn't enough to prove that the noise they made exceeded the limit. So I took note of the decibel limit at that time. In the days after getting the speaker, I adjusted the volume using a decibel meter to make sure it was just below the limit. Hooligans aren't scary. What's scary is a hooligan with some brains. At that moment, this cultured hooligan felt so triumphant that even my dark circles seemed to fade a bit. When things go your way, you feel great. The old sayings really are right. The property management and the police's attitude remained unchanged. They were mediating before, and they were still mediating now. Seeing that mediation wasn't working, the people in 301 resorted to another trick: public opinion pressure. Since I had blocked them on WeChat, they started playing the victim in the neighborhood group. Mom Yia led the way with a heart-wrenching essay. "I am the resident of room 301. You've been playing songs like Little Apple, the most dazzling ethnic style, and Drunk Butterfly at home for a whole week. Even with earplugs and soundproof cotton, we still can't fall asleep. There's a 2-year-old child in my family, and the noise is keeping her awake too. She cries so much that she's lost weight. I'm a full-time mom and my child is my life. Please have mercy on my child and my family." Following this emotional appeal was a video, seemingly shot in their bedroom. The song "The Vast Horizon Is My Love" could be heard playing. The man in the video looked helplessly into the camera. "There's nothing we can do. The noise is unbearable." They even deliberately recorded the sound of the child wailing. As I watched, I couldn't help but marvel at the audacity of the 301 residents. I'd seen their videos before. Their own sleep schedules were irregular, but their daughter strictly adhered to a routine of early to bed, late to rise. The times when I played music wouldn't disturb her at all. They'd taken a recording of their daughter crying for some unrelated reason and deceitfully implied it was because of me, using their child to smear my reputation. Sure enough, some uninformed neighbors in the community group were misled. 2 parents whose profile pictures showed their children chimed in. "Close neighbors are better than distant relatives. Even if you love music, you should show some restraint. Children can get sick if they don't sleep well. Let's be more understanding." Before I could respond, Mamie quickly replied, "Yes, we've talked to the resident of room 202. Their attitude was terrible. We're really at our wits' end. Sorry for bothering everyone." Her disingenuous words soon won the sympathy of more people. I've had neighbors like that before. I know how hard it is. Hugs. Being a full-time mom is no easy task. Hang in there. Some busybodies even tagged me. Resident of 7 building room 202, give us an explanation. Look what you've done to that poor child. Don't play dumb. Well, if they wanted me to speak up, here I was. Without further ado, I uploaded a video. Though crudely edited, it was clear enough. Footage from the surveillance camera outside my door showed the man from 301 over 4 or 5 consecutive days. In the video, he carried a large garbage bag in his left hand and a small package in his right. When he reached my doorstep, he looked around furtively, then dropped something dark and messy from the small package. The following day's recording showed him in different clothes with different garbage, but always that sneaky expression. Once, the camera even captured him muttering a curse. Little brat trying to mess with me. As soon as the video was posted, the group fell silent. Those who'd played the role of righteous passers-by before were now speechless. I smiled and started typing. As you can see, this is outside my door, and the person dumping the garbage is from room 301. Mamiya was quick to respond. That's because you played music to disturb us. I sneered and typed back. Then why did I start playing music? I opened a file, took screenshots of a prepared PDF page by page, and posted them in the group. During my stay in the dormitory, I hadn't been idle. I detailed the entire sequence of events and evidence according to the timeline. Facts of noise disturbance, including the exact early morning times and the volume of noises like chairs scraping. Screenshots of their late-night live stream selling chairs and mops, clearly showing the time as midnight. Cover captions indicating guests leaving at 12 a.m. Records of failed mediations, including call logs with the property management, the landlord, and the police. These facts, interconnected, fully demonstrated that despite multiple attempts at mediation, the 301 residents remained unrepentant and resorted to underhanded tactics. As teachers, we have an unwritten rule. No matter how complex the knowledge, it must be explained clearly and systematically. Now, treating the onlookers as my students, I used a clear timeline, concise text, and a wealth of evidence like photos and videos to expose the truth about room 301. And of course, the Bluetooth speaker still playing herding horses with a lasso at that moment was the key to my counterattack. I didn't really expect the onlookers to make a decisive difference, but I couldn't just sit back while they tried to pressure me with public opinion. After I posted all the PDF screenshots, the group fell silent again. I knew the spectators were reading my document with a mix of gossipy curiosity, just as they'd watched Mom Yea's video before. Perhaps feeling panicked, Mom Yea went quiet for a while. Then her husband rushed to defend them. This is all slander. Whether it's slander or not, everyone has eyes and can judge for themselves, I replied. And isn't there a fine for deliberately dumping garbage in the corridor? At property management. The property management had always tried to avoid taking sides in my dispute with room 301, but when it came to fines which affected their bottom line, things were different. This was potential income, and they wouldn't let it slip away. The property manager, who'd probably been lurking in the group, replied almost instantly, 200 yuan for each instance of littering. There are 4 or 5 pieces of evidence in your video. I've informed the cleaning staff and they're on their way. That meant nearly 1,000 yuan in fines. The man from room 301 angrily sent a voice message. It was an accident. I didn't do it on purpose. And what right do you have to fine me? The property manager calmly replied. The notice banning littering and imposing fines has been posted on the bulletin board for a long time. Maintaining the community environment is everyone's responsibility. If everyone littered like you, the community would be a dump. Confronted with the prospect of financial loss, the true nature of room 301 was revealed. During their argument with the property manager, most of the onlookers had finished reading my PDF and changed their tune. Those who'd been misled and criticized me were now furious. How shameless. You've been disturbing that young girl every day, and now you're blaming her? Her actions were self-defense, while yours are despicable. Dumping garbage at her door, how low can you get? So double standard. When you disturb others, it's their problem for being too sensitive, but when they do it back, they're the villains. The man from room 301 retorted. We've been tiptoeing around. What more do you want? Would you be able to stand it if someone played music at all hours? And I have a 2-year-old child at home. Oh, give me a break, I typed. My PDF clearly shows that even after I talked to you several times, you still made a huge racket at night. I've only played music for a few days and you can't stand it? What about the whole month I endured your noise? Did you ever consider how I felt? Now, I didn't even need to defend myself. Sympathetic neighbors chimed in. Living below you must be a nightmare. Stop using your daughter as an excuse. She's unlucky to have parents like you. You reap what you sow. Looking closely, I noticed that many of these new commenters had similar profile pictures, pink fans and smiling faces. It was the square dancing granny's army. Just then my phone vibrated. Grandmolly sent me a voice message. Ran, we were about to go dancing when we saw the argument in the group. Another granny's voice followed. Ran, we're experts at arguing. Want us to keep going? I quickly replied. It's okay, Grandma. You go ahead and dance. I can handle this. When I switched back to the group chat, I saw someone trying to smooth things over. Alright, enough. They've left the group. Checking the member count, indeed, 2 fewer people were in the group. I felt a mix of disdain and sadness. So they weren't as fearless as they seemed. When so many people criticized them, they backed down. They bullied me because I was a single girl living alone. I typed in the group. Sorry for the commotion. Thanks for your understanding. Then I sent a 200 yuan lucky draw red packet. After grabbing the red packet, the neighbors became much friendlier. It wasn't your fault in the first place. You endured it for so long without making a fuss in the group. They're the ones who escalated the situation. Neighbors should live in harmony. I stopped checking the group. Thinking that after all this, the residents of room 301 might finally behave themselves, I wondered if I should go home and see if there was still noise at night. But I was a bit scared. The woman was one thing, but that man was a bully. I was afraid he might attack me if I ran into him. Just as I was considering asking a PE teacher to accompany me back to the community, my phone rang. It was an unknown number. Assuming it was a parent, I answered. Hello. A stream of vicious curses came through the phone. You stupid bitch, Chin ran. Just you wait. You're a despicable slut. Why don't you just die? I was shocked. It was the man from room 301. The insults kept coming. I hung up and blocked the number. But he called from different numbers, and a flood of text messages filled my phone. Stripping away the foul language, the message was clear. You'll pay. I'll make sure you lose your teaching job. I contacted China Mobile and activated the text message protection function. Though it would also block delivery notifications, at least I could have some peace. To be honest, from the moment I was verbally abused to receiving those hateful text messages, my hands had been shaking. Throughout my life, I'd only associated with civilized people. This was the first time I'd encountered such a manhung and aggressive person. A few days later, I understood what he meant by making me lose my teaching job. The live streaming account Mom Yaya, with 300,000 followers, posted a new video. Instead of her usual housework content, it was titled, Do you have neighbors like this? Playing music from dawn till dusk, making it impossible to sleep. Under this inflammatory caption was a video of a haggard-looking Mom Yaya, holding her crying daughter. She sobbed into the camera. I've been thinking for a long time whether to tell you all this. Some of you asked if I was sick. I'm not, I just can't sleep. The woman living downstairs, a teacher, plays music nonstop every day. We've talked to her several times, contacted the property management, and even called the police, but nothing works. She even insulted my family, telling us to die. Adults can tolerate it, but a child can't. Yaya can't sleep, cries all day, and is losing weight. I know her name is Chin Ran, a Chinese teacher at a certain high school. Does anyone know her? Can you please persuade her? What can I do to make her leave us alone? I'd even kneel and beg if that's what it takes. By the time I saw the video, it had already received over 7,000 likes, and the number was still rising. The comment section was filled with vitriol. Calls me shameless, immoral, urdu, and even wishes for my death, saying I should be hit by a car. Some threatened to dig up personal information, claiming I didn't deserve to be a teacher, and vowing to get me fired. The few comments that questioned her, like, your late-night housework is pretty noisy too, or, this isn't what you said in the community group, were quickly deleted by Mom Yaya. Struggling to hold back my tears, I scanned the comment section. It was nothing but abuse, with some even cursing my family. The more I read, the colder I felt, my chest tightened, and it became hard to breathe. Just then my phone rang. It was my furious leader. Ran, someone called the school office to report you. What's going on? Clenching my fists, I braced myself for the scolding. I told myself, Chin Ran, don't cry. But then he continued his tirade. That stupid influencer, acting all innocent and sweet. I was taken aback. My leader said angrily, Lou told me all about your neighbor disturbing the peace. Otherwise, why do you think your dormitory application was approved so quickly? How can your neighbor be so shameless? Just because they do live streaming, they think they own the world. I was stunned. So my leader wasn't going to scold me? My leader said, why would I scold you? You didn't twist the truth. You weren't the one making noise in the middle of the night, and you didn't play the victim. Were you about to cry? I quickly grabbed a tissue to wipe my tears. No, I said. My leader's tone softened a bit, though still with a hint of disdain. I know you too well. Stop crying. Are you still in the dorm? I'm coming over right away. My leader arrived in a hurry, carrying a bag of hot pot ingredients. She deftly took out lamb slices, shrimp balls, meatballs, wide noodles, and all sorts of other things and laid them out on the table. Seeing my astonished expression, she frowned and said, What are you standing there for? Boil some water. The aroma of the beef tallow broth filled the air. She kept piling food into my bowl. Eat more, she said. Just as I took a bite of the lamb slice and felt a lump in my throat, my leader quickly handed me a tissue. I watched that video. Let me ask you one thing. Did that two-faced person start disturbing the peace first, or was it you? I wiped my tears, feeling extremely weighty. It was them. It went on for a month. I tried everything to talk to them, but they wouldn't listen. I had no choice but to do what I did. My leader said, Well then, what are you crying for? You should be cursing them out like me. But their fans have been calling to report me, I said. My leader slammed her chopsticks down. The school has to respect the facts. Besides, with me here, what do you have to be afraid of? I looked up at her. This tough woman from Northeast China had been straightforward and decisive when she mentored me, and now when she came to comfort me, she was just as blunt. But it was precisely this unwavering spirit that pulled me out of my despair. I'd been so affected by the comments on that video that I felt like the whole world was cursing me. I'd even worried that the online violence would spill over into real life and endanger my parents and me. Lost in these thoughts, I'd felt so helpless. But now, sitting here eating and drinking with my imposing leader, I finally felt alive again. My leader glanced at me, then picked up her chopsticks and took a big bite of the shrimp ball. That's more like it. I've seen plenty of people like them. They make a little money online and get a few 100,000 followers, and suddenly they think they're invincible. What a joke. The truly powerful ones keep a low profile. Only those with half-baked abilities show off. She ladled some mushroom soup into my bowl and said gently, Ran, you're just too young to know better. This actually reveals their weakness. I absent-mindedly stirred the soup with my chopsticks, thinking about what she said. Weakness? I asked. After calling me, going through the property management involving the police, and playing the victim in the community group, they'd finally resorted to online violence. What did that mean? It meant their followers were their biggest weapon. If they used it well, I'd be crushed and give in. But what if I fought back? I definitely would. The netizens had believed the one-sided story from room 301 and thought of me as heartless and cold. But I had evidence too, and I had support. If they could do it with their followers and influence, so could I. The fact that I, Mom Yea's neighbor, was responding could be used to turn the situation around. As I got more excited, I stopped eating and started explaining my ideas to my leader, using gestures to emphasize my points. My leader pushed the whole plate of lamb into the spicy broth without batting an eye. Exactly. It's easy to deal with these small-time influencers. They built their reputation online, so they should cherish it the most. But if they want to ruin themselves, we'll help them along. That night, my leader helped me revise the script, and she called in Lu, the Chinese teacher from the neighboring class who was great at making vlogs. My leader was a top-notch Chinese teacher, and Lu was a recognized master at writing copy. I wasn't as good as them, but I was filled with genuine emotions and determination. With 3 women working together, we created something big. Lu said that the best times for online traffic were 10 a.m., 2 p.m. and 8 p.m., when office workers took breaks, had lunch or had dinner. We chose 2 p.m. to post the video we'd spent all night filming and editing. I registered a new account with no history, no followers and no posts. The ID was Mom Yea's neighbor, and the bio read, "The truth you seek is here." The video's cover had bold, eye-catching text. "Mom Ye, you're really good at shifting the blame." The caption used Mom Yea's common hashtags, like hashtag Mom Yea's daily life hashtag. Lu said, "Anyone can ride the coattails of popularity." We'd spent a long time discussing how I should present myself in the video. Lu thought I should play up how pitiful I was since I'd actually been a victim of online abuse. But my leader disagreed. She said I should show off the professional skills of a Chinese teacher. No wonder she was the leader. In the end, the me in the video had obvious dark circles under my eyes but still looked energetic. "Hello everyone. I'm the neighbor of Mom Ye." In her latest video, she complained to her audience about how her neighbor disturbed her family's rest day and night. But is that really what happened? In fact, I was the first one to be disturbed, not them. Fans of Mom Ye may know that she became famous for her videos of doing housework in the early hours of the morning. The screen then showed Mom Ye's profile page, highlighting several videos with titles like, "Doing housework at early morning time." Some fans asked in the comments if doing housework at midnight would disturb the neighbors. Mom Ye said no. But now as her neighbor, I'm here to tell you it does. The top right corner showed the conversation between Mom Ye and her fan, while the main screen showed my face, a mix of calmness and anger. Ever since Mom Ye moved in upstairs, I've been suffering from the noise. Here are videos I took of the ceiling's vibrations and the readings from the decibel meter in the middle of the night. The screen showed the relevant footage. So I went to talk to her, even bringing noise-reducing slippers. The screen showed the Taobao purchase screenshot and pictures of 3 pairs of slippers in different sizes. At first, they agreed to be quieter, but soon they went back to their old ways. When I went to talk to them again, her husband insulted me. During this time, I contacted the property management, the landlord, and even the police. But they always pretended to agree but continued to cause trouble. They even took revenge by dumping garbage outside my door. The screen showed the surveillance video of the man from room 301 furtively dumping garbage. That's when I decided I wouldn't take it anymore. I bought a speaker and played music during the day, making sure not to disturb their daughter's sleep. Her claim that I deliberately disturbed her child is completely false. The screen showed screenshots of the speaker's playback records, clearly showing the times and most played songs. This isn't the first time Mom Ye has twisted the truth. When she was in the wrong, she tried to gain sympathy in the community group. After I exposed her, her husband threatened me. Then an audio recording played of the man from room 301 calling me and yelling insults. Next are screenshots of the text messages filled with vulgarities and threats. Thinking about everything that had happened, my eyes welled up with tears. "Don't cry," I told myself. "Chin Ran, you're different from them. You can't play the victim." I paused and continued. "I'm not sure what will happen after posting this video, but I'm certain of one thing. Justice will prevail. I'm Mom Ye's neighbor, and I'm willing to take legal responsibility for every word I've said." As soon as the video was posted, it caused a huge stir. I was amazed as I watched the number of likes skyrocket. Lu whispered to me, looking both secretive and proud, "I paid for some promotion for the video." My leader said modestly, "I just shared it in the groups of my former students and their parents." Thanks to her good reputation over the years, the video quickly spread across the local online community. I couldn't put my phone down, eagerly reading the comments. Some of Mom Ye's former fans said, "I came here to scold you, but after watching your video, I'm going back to scold Mom Ye. She's so two-faced, using her child as a shield. Was all that an act? I can't believe I followed such a person. I'm unfollowing right away." More comments came from people who'd had similar experiences. "I feel you. The kid upstairs plays with a ball every night, and they won't listen no matter what I say. Don't bother with slippers. Just get a noisemaker and they'll behave. Unbelievable. What a hypocrite. And she calls herself an influencer? Does her husband think he's in the mafia, threatening people like that?" The funniest comments were from my leader's students and their parents. After watching both videos, I have to say, as expected of a Chinese teacher, the logic is flawless. Unlike the other side who can only play the victim. Everyone, take this as a standard for exposing the truth. "Chin Ran, you're amazing. Ms. Wang, I want my daughter to be in your class next year." Lu pointed at this comment and burst out laughing. Your students' parents are so funny, Ms. Wang. My leader said calmly. Funny or not, as long as they're supportive, that's all that matters. Our efforts paid off. In less than half a day, the video had received 50,000 likes, far more than Mom Ye's video. Her comment section was in chaos. Judging from her replies to netizens, many people had gone to her private messages to scold her family. Netizens also dug up her old videos of late-night gatherings and cleaning, and the comment where she claimed it wouldn't disturb the neighbors. Under that comment, people were criticizing her non-stop. Seeing her reputation plummet, Mom Ye quickly posted a second video, crying and trying to clear the air. But all she did was appeal to emotions, with no facts to back her up. I kind of understood her. My evidence was too solid with photos and videos. She had nothing to refute me with. This generation of netizens wasn't easily fooled. Having grown up following celebrity scandals, they could easily see through her act. Especially when she said, "How can she think we shouldn't disturb the neighbors when she's disturbing us?" Netizens were furious, calling her a hypocrite and telling her to leave the country. Stop acting. You started this. Where's your husband? He was so tough when he insulted that young girl. Now he's hiding. Stop playing the victim for profit and get lost. Lu analyzed that this probably had little to do with the few hundred yuan spent on video promotion. Instead, it was mainly because so many people could relate to the story. As he spoke, he was lying on the sofa, scrolling through the comments section with great relish. Who says Douyin users are unrefined? I think everyone here has a strong sense of justice. The leader said. Nowadays, netizens love to build up idols and tear them down. Of course, I'm not saying your neighbor is an idol, they're just trash. What I mean is that everyone has an aggressive side, which online manifests as a desire to see others' downfall, wishing they would be completely destroyed. Lu eagerly poured the leader a cup of tea. Leader, please analyze more. I love hearing this. The leader raised an eyebrow and smiled. When I ask you to revise your teaching plans, you're not interested, but you're all ears for this, huh? Lu smiled sheepishly. The leader took a sip of tea and continued. Fame is a double-edged sword. The more famous one is, the more cautious one should be. Why is Mom Ye so arrogant? Why can't she just keep quiet or move out? She refuses because she's used to smooth sailing online, being praised all the time, and has lost touch with reality. When things go well, it's fine, but once she encounters setbacks, her true nature is revealed. Lu and I exchanged a glance and nodded, having learned something. The leader pointed at the phone and added, "We can see many well-known bloggers who are sincere. Why haven't they become corrupt? One reason is their original aspiration, like the innate talent in a game. The other is self-cultivation, constantly reminding themselves to have reverence. As educators, we should attach great importance to the role of cultivation. A single word, a case, or a class can shape students' outlooks on life, values, and the world, thus influencing social ethos. This is what it takes 10 years to grow trees, but 100 to nurture people means." Lu and I listened intently, but the leader put down the teacup, stood up and said, "Stop daydreaming. You'll have plenty of time to listen to my lectures. First, let's win this battle." By winning this battle, the leader meant the second video we had planned the day before. The leader said that just responding wasn't enough. We also needed to strike back. The video posted today was for defense, and now it was time for our counterattack. Lu, who was into the fan circle culture, knew that the most common charge against celebrities was defamation. I explained to the camera, "What is defamation? It is the intentional fabrication and dissemination of false information, which can degrade others' characters, damage their reputations, and when the circumstances are serious, constitute a crime." The screen showed a screenshot from Mom Ye's video, specifically the part where she claimed I told her family to die. Mom Ye, from start to finish, no matter how you provoked me, I remained restrained and never uttered such malicious words. You fabricated facts and deliberately incited netizens to dig into my personal information, which constitutes defamation. I picked up the printed documents and pointed to the written words for the camera. When the same defamatory information is viewed 5,000 times or forwarded 500 times, it can be deemed as serious circumstances. As of now, Mom Ye's video has received over 10,000 likes, which falls under serious circumstances. The screen showed a screenshot of Mom Ye's video with the like count highlighted. What is the sentencing standard for serious circumstances? It is imprisonment of less than 3 years, criminal detention, public surveillance, or deprivation of political rights. Finally, I smiled and said, "I have secured the evidence and hired a lawyer. If you don't apologize publicly as I demand, I will hold your family legally accountable." When the first video's like count exceeded 100,000, we quickly released the second video. This time, without Lu buying promotion or the leader sharing it, the video's views in the student group skyrocketed on their own. Many people tagged Mom Ye in the comment section, demanding she come out and apologize. Just like in the community group incident, those who felt deceived were the angriest and used the harshest words. The situation developed even better than we expected. Seeing Lu and me engrossed in our phones, the leader couldn't stand it anymore. "You two grown women have some self-control. Stop looking at your phones. Come shopping with me, and I'll treat you to barbecue." I quickly raised my hand. "I'll treat. I should treat you for all your help." The leader pushed my hand down. "Wait until she compensates you for emotional distress. Then you can treat us. I'm in a good mood, so let me be generous this time." When Lu heard the name of the barbecue restaurant, he jumped for joy. "Leader, you're being too kind. I'll buy milk tea." While we were enjoying the barbecue, I received a call from an unknown number. My phone vibrated, and the leader gestured for me to answer it on speaker. Mom Ye's voice came through, cautious and a bit submissive. "Is that Ran Ran?" "This is Mom Ye," I said. "Are you here to apologize?" She hesitated and replied, "Yes, but can you delete the video first?" I sneered. "Do you think I'm stupid? I'll delete the video when you apologize publicly." Mommy sobbed. "Sister, I'm not like you. You have a stable job, and my whole family depends on live streaming for a living. I can't even do live streaming sales now. Every time I go live I get cursed at. How about this? I'll give you 5,000 yuan. Can you just say it was a misunderstanding?" I was shocked. "When you incited netizens to dig into my personal information, did you ever think about how I, an ordinary teacher, also need to make a living? If that's your attitude, there's no need to talk. See you in court." I hung up the phone. Soon a text message followed. "How about 10,000 yuan?" I rolled my eyes and blocked her number. What kind of person is this? Always resorting to such despicable means and never learning from their mistakes. Lou noticed my expression and quietly pushed a glass of iced plum juice towards me. Calm down, calm down. The leader put a piece of grilled streaky pork in my bowl. "Don't worry. She'll apologize eventually." After the meal, Lou and I helped the leader carry shopping bags. The leader then advised, realizing the importance of her reputation, she's surely anxious to end this. If it goes to court, this will never be over. As a semi-business person, she understands the stakes. Just as the leader predicted, the next morning, when I logged into the app, I saw many messages. Mom Ye's family had apologized. Mom Ye said she shouldn't have made noise at night to disturb the neighbor. Dad Ye said he shouldn't have threatened the neighbor or dumped garbage. Mom Ye also admitted that they shouldn't have used their influence as bloggers to incite online violence and personal information digging. Finally, they said they would move to a ground floor residence. The comment section was still filled with scolding. What's done leaves a mark. Even an apology can only salvage, not fully repair the damage. They should have known this long ago. Lou commented while eating a steamed bun. I have to say the apology hits the right points. These are all the key points I demanded based on previous cases. Some people apologize just to be annoying, not sincerely. I couldn't let them do that. Seeing him reach for a second bun, I quickly rinsed my mouth. Hey, weren't you here to bring me breakfast? You ate it all. What am I supposed to eat? Lou looked aggrieved. Riding my electric bike here used up my energy too. Don't be stingy. Just then, the dormitory door opened, and the leader walked in with a luxurious McDonald's breakfast. She asked in surprise, "Who's being stingy?" I handed the bag of buns to Lou and held the McDonald's bag reverently. "No one. Leader, you're amazing." When the dust finally settled, Mom Ye lost nearly 100,000 followers. In her newly posted videos, former fans often left comments warning new followers. This person is no good. In the dead of night, do they regret what they did? I don't know and I don't care anymore. They paid the landlord the penalty for early termination of the lease and moved out of room 301. A new tenant, a mother accompanying her child for studies, moved in. On the first day, she gave fish soup to the surrounding neighbors, saying her child would come home late from cram school and asking for everyone's understanding. In fact, I rarely heard any noise from her place. Grandma Lee said, "This is what a civilized person does. Those who ask for understanding usually behave themselves." Grandma Zhang chimed in. Exactly. Her son is handsome and polite, always greeting people. It's so pleasant. I couldn't help but laugh. After the summer vacation, when I resumed teaching, a student raised their hand and asked, "Teacher, what do you think of full-time mothers?" Dozens of curious eyes in the classroom stared at me. Even those who had been dozing in the back row perked up instantly. I realized they knew the whole story of my feud with Mom Ye. Looking at their eager expressions, the leader's words echoed in my ears. As educators, we should attach great importance to the role of cultivation. I put down the chalk and thought for a moment before saying, I know many of you may have seen the videos of my conflict with my neighbor over the noise issue during the summer vacation. The biggest lessons I learned from this are, first, be kind. Kindness is the most precious virtue. Second, be brave. Don't be afraid when facing an opponent who seems more powerful than you. Pausing for a moment, I continued, regarding your question about full-time mothers, first of all, both full-time and working mothers deserve respect. The achievements of working mothers can be measured by their salaries and prestige, but the efforts of full-time mothers are sometimes overlooked, and they may face greater risks of being undervalued by their husbands and children. So I hope everyone with a full-time mother at home can express their gratitude and respect for her hard work. However, I changed my tone. There are some people online who use the image of full-time mothers to build an online persona. They deliberately exaggerate the hardships of full-time mothers, actually fueling unnecessary competition and spreading anxiety. Such behavior is both foolish and malicious. Women should prove their worth not by playing the victim, but by creating value in a broader arena. There are 21 girls in my class. Some with ponytails exude youthful vitality, while others with short hair look cute and innocent. At this moment, their eyes sparkled as they looked at me. They should all have brilliant futures. I was silent for a while and then said, boys are often taught to be brave as they grow up, while girls are taught to be gentle. In my opinion, both boys and girls should be brave and move forward. Your identity should be diverse. You are first and foremost yourself and only then someone's father or mother. Don't let any role confine you. When the bell rang for the end of class, I walked out of the classroom. The breeze blew gently, the sky above the playground was a clear blue, and students were playing and chasing each other in the corridor, their smiles bright and carefree. Standing among them, I felt an overwhelming sense of lightness. Yes, I had been troubled by a difficult neighbor and fought a tough online battle. I had witnessed the ugliness of human nature, but that didn't stop me from looking at the world with kindness. The leader's words weren't entirely accurate. While I educate my students, they also teach me through their words and actions. I'm grateful to be in this vibrant campus, Always young at heart, never giving up, and always believing in the truth. Without realizing it, these have become my source of strength. When faced with a choice between purity and corruption, the answer will always be the former.